Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome.
And you already know what time it is. Every Tuesday night at 8, another exciting, insightful edition of the MCW Cast. I'm Legacy, MCW announcer, Larry Legend.
I'm MCW promoter, Dan McDevitt.
And I'm Tara. Thank you for joining us tonight, and thanks for listening on all of our major podcast platforms, including Apple Podcasts, Google Play, SoundCloud, Spotify, Stitcher, Pocket Cast, Breaker, Radio Public, CastBox, and of course, you can check out the video on YouTube, Twitch, and Facebook. So, welcome, everyone.
Welcome. And thanks to our Coffee Club subscribers, like I said, the seasons are beginning to change, so we need some nice hot coffee to keep us fueled for the MCW Cast, and we want to thank all the people who have supported thus far, and encourage you also, if you want to, buy us a cup of coffee, keep us nice and fueled here, and join in on the action that is the MCW Cast.
Fall has the best seasonal coffee flavors. There's of course pumpkin spice, but there's like maple bacon. There's just so many good flavored coffees for fall season.
Now, this is what I always wanted to do, was a little coffee talk. We don't just have the coffee club, but also tying it back to something that we all love, caffeine. I'm on right now from a local Baltimore brewer, purveyor of coffee. It's called Higher Ground. And I'm on Dark Vader.
Oh,
not
okay.
Darth Vader, but Dark Vader. And it's obviously a darker roast, got that signature, make the whole house in the morning smell like coffee.
Yeah.
That's what I'm.
Where do you get that from?
I get it from a shop down in, I don't know if that's Mount Vernon. I don't know where it is, but it's called the Bun Shop. And I go there on my breaks on weekends when I'm not, hosting. And I get the coffee there every time I go, like a cup of it. But the last time I was there, I was like, you know what? It's the season right now where I'm going to want to brew my coffee in the morning before, when I wake up and it's cold, to get the chill off. So I got some Higher Ground Dark Vader. And
Are you
really
a French press guy?
You know that I am.
I knew it.
Yeah, it's one of the most simplest but sophisticated ways of brewing coffee. So I love my French press every morning.
Interesting. It's funny because I only use a French press when I'm camping. I don't know why. I think it's just me in the morning. I'm too sleepy, so I just hit the Keurig button. I do have the pods. I make the pods up myself, but that's about all I can handle at the hour that I get up is pushing the button on the Keurig.
Well, there's something to be said about ritual. So, with other things that I like to enjoy, there's something about the ritual of grinding my beans in the morning and pouring that first little swirl of water on to get the, the grounds activated, and then waiting 4 minutes, and kind of watching Fox Baltimore Traffic Jam Jimmy or whoever, and, remembering to plunge my coffee down. So part of the thing about me and the French press and that method of brewing is I'm really into the whole process of grinding my beans and pouring the water and waiting 4 minutes and actually pressing down the plunger for my coffee.
Yeah, see, that's not happening at 6 a.m. for me. Maybe about 11 or 10, when I've got my wits about me, then but not at 6 a.m. 6 a.m. I just need whatever goes in my cup to get me through rush hour, or the traffic I have to sit through. So
you've got a programmable Keurig, I take it.
Well, it's not programmable, but okay. I can muster up the energy. Now, I packed the pods the night before, so literally all I do is push the button.
My routine is a little bit simpler. I just get in the car and go to Wawa. I get the dark roast and some Irish creamer, and
you're set.
And I'm set. And that's my routine for coffee.
Well, the thing about it is we were talking about Dark Vader, and I as well frequent coffee shops like yours. Your choice is Wawa.
It's Sheetz actually, but Sheetz is in Joppa, and I live in Middle River, so Wawa's closer.
I haven't been to Sheetz in years.
Huh?
I haven't been to Sheetz in
Sheetz
years.
has the Sumatra blend.
They do have good coffee.
Yeah.
I grew up down the street from a Sheetz, so yeah.
Hey, speaking of our coffee club members, I want to shout out all of our followers on Twitter for MCW Cast 2021. Now, we only have 96. Okay? But I think that after this edition of the MCW Cast, with me putting it out there in the universe, that we want to get to at least 100 followers. MCW Wrestling has 26,000. The little old MCW Cast started, a little bit about a year ago now. And we appreciate everyone that's taking a part in the conversation and asking the MCW Cast some burning questions. So I want to encourage everyone out there to go ahead and follow at MCW Cast 2021, and I will sweeten the pot here. I'm going to ask a trivia question right
Okay.
now. You don't even know I'm doing this. I'm going to ask a trivia question right
Okay.
now. And if you follow at MCW Cast 2021 and correctly answer the question, so it's a 2-part thing you got to
Okay.
do here, I will mail a special gift to any of our followers, the MCW faithful that does
Wow.
that. So the trivia question is going to be this. Since we started the MCW Cast, there have been 2 individuals that have been a part of every single episode. 2 individuals from the MCW echelon that have been a part of every episode of the MCW Cast. Tweet us at MCW Cast 2021. The answers, both of them, and you can win a free gift. And follow us.
Wow. All right. I was going to say we could do a ticket giveaway, but I like your idea better. We'll do a ticket giveaway another week.
I like that. Let's maybe
All right.
we'll roll with the trivia, to
Okay.
kind of get that interaction, that engagement with our Twitter followers. I want to hear from you.
This is all part of your plot to make me use Twitter. I know.
It is.
I know. I can't take it.
She just doesn't like the way it looks.
I don't.
You want to know something that I did like the way that it looked? How about MCW Monster Mash?
Yeah.
Our last show out there at East Point Mall.
Hard to believe that Halloween also is over,
Yeah.
and we're right around Thanksgiving season.
Yeah.
It's like 2022 is almost here.
Yeah, it's
Pretty
we've-
freaking insane.
And like all autumns, we have a whole plethora of shows on the agenda. So it's nice to be back to doing that. I know we like to have as many as we can in a short period of time, and we've got plenty more on the
Well,
horizon.
this is the season, you know.
It is,
like
yeah.
for independent wrestling, for fans of wrestling, from a promotion standpoint, the busy, probably like 4 busiest months would be like October, November, then probably February, March, of where business is best for independent wrestling, So we're right in that busy season.
Well, and if you want to take a look at one of our previous matches from that season, it's a little bit after that. I would say December's kind of still busy for us because we're wrapping up the end of the year stuff. But our Flashback Friday is from New Year's Mayhem in 2018. It was at Perry Hall High School. It was our debut there. And it was Brian Johnson versus Trick versus Kakoa versus Elijah King, who you now know as Ashante Theodonis with WWE. So you can check that out on YouTube for our Flashback Friday for the week.
I love me some Ashanti the Adonis. In particular, his Instagram is just a delight. Unfortunately, it wasn't really someone that I got to interact with. Like I always am throwing myself under the bus. I was in and out of MCW as we were growing into MCW Pro, so I missed Tahuti here. But I love what's happening with him. I love seeing him on TV, and he's part of our legacy that's out there for millions to experience every single week. So shout out to Hootie Miles. And how about the fact that we had a Trick here in MCW Pro, and now there is a Trick that kind of fulfills the exact same role as our Trick in NXT.
Yeah.
Carmelo, I always want to call him Carmelo Anthony. Carmelo Haynes, who is the current NXT North American champion, has a muscle, and that muscle's name is Trick. And it's very similar to our Trick that, was with Napalm, kind of with the umbrella and,
Right.
like a right-hand man, a butler, if you will. So it's interesting to me that, we're going to be having our Trick featured in the Flashback Friday, but there's another Trick, that's just like you said about.
A lot of tricks being turned.
You said it. In the wild and woolly world of professional wrestling,
Wow.
we've seen stranger things happen.
Well, speaking of stranger things happening in the wild world of professional wrestling, we've got a great guest on tonight from our legacy who's got a very storied past and will no doubt have lots of really entertaining stories to share with you all tonight. And I'm talking about none other than he's known as Chad Austin. He was also known as
Chad Bowman.
Chad Bowman. Yeah, when you managed
No,
it.
I was trying to spit out. He was also known as part of the TQM team that I was a manager of with Jimmy Cicero and Q-Ball Carmichael and Dino Divine and, of course, Chad Bowman and myself and Colleen. So, yeah, part of a faction. And
But he was also known as just Chad.
That's when I knew him the most, as a member of the Slackers.
The
Slackers,
Slackers, yep.
Lunchbox and Chad.
Uh-huh.
That's when I met him. That's when he had a hand in training me, actually, to take some bumps down at the old Bone Breakers. So I'm looking forward to having our very special guest on this edition of the MCW Cast, Chad Austin.
Engage with the MCW Cast on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch for a chance to get your questions answered on a future episode of the cast. Or send us a tweet with the hashtag AskMCWCast.
And we are back here live in studio with our very special guest, Chad Bowman. Welcome, Chad, to the MCW Cast.
Tally-ho, guys.
It's great to see you. It's been years since we've even laid eyes on one another.
It's been years since anybody's laid eyes on me.
No, I've laid eyes on you. We've run into each other before outside of wrestling.
Easy killer. I mean, that's not getting. We're not going to go there. What was that, at a flea market or something? We bumped into one another.
Yeah, well, and when you were doing the crab gig, you know, I went to the place where you had the crabs at that restaurant.
Like 7
Okay,
years
that was a long time ago, yes. But okay, we've run into each other more recently than that.
By accident.
Over at one of those big box stores with like the blue sign and the little yellow thing that looks like a star in lovely Dundalk.
I'll
yeah.
take your word for it. I don't know. I do know I did run into you at some point, and I hugged you, and then when I left, I said, I don't even know who it is.
We went to a festival. We went to a festival, remember? The Shindig Festival.
Yeah, I did.
Okay.
Yeah, I was there.
Yeah, and you must have bumped into Tara. I want to shout it out right now. We've had a lot of legendary guests in the studio right now, but you know me, I always keep my eye on fashion. Chad came in here wearing the Ribera Steakhouse varsity jacket, which is a telltale sign of somebody who has been up and down the winding roads of our industry all the way over to the land of the rising sun. So,
Well, you know, Larry, it goes back to that tour in Japan, Danny, that you got me.
The one in 72.
Well, not quite 72. It was like 2002.
Yeah.
After I had beaten everybody for all the MCW titles, and I had nothing else to prove, you said you needed to go over to Japan. And you got me a job over in Japan.
And our working relationship with Anoki.
I thought it was all Japan womenens.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's what it was.
Bull Nakano was the plug.
Oh.
Yeah, like 68.
Yeah, it didn't work out so well for me. No,
But you got the jacket.
It wasn't the kind of promotion that I thought it was going to be.
When was the last time you wrestled?
For, I don't know, 2012 maybe?
Was it?
For Brian Hardy. But that I didn't do anything. I didn't take a bump. I didn't hit the ropes. I didn't do it. I didn't do
Wait,
it.
did you do the Russian dance?
Oh
That's all I care about.
yeah.
That's all I care about.
But I did
you
it.
do that?
I just did it twice.
Oh,
Cheer-
that's
cheer.
all the people want to see.
Because I heard the knees crack and, and everything buckle, and I'm just like looking like a fool, like standing in the middle of the ring at the Stony Creek Democratic Club, like looking all stupid. And I was like, all right, enough with this.
Wow, I remember that Russian dance. It used to be one of my
Yes,
favorite parts of any time that you
exactly.
worked.
Dude, it was over.
It was completely.
That's why Danny booked me. Well, that and Dino.
Yeah. What about Dino? Have you heard from Dino?
I talk to him occasionally, but not too often.
He's got a couple kids. He's just doing the family thing.
Well,
right?
that's not my fault. That's something that he's taken upon himself. I don't know, but we just kind of talk in briefing, and we just kind of like, hey man, miss you. But if it wasn't for you, Dan, me and Dino would have never have become friends, and we would have never gotten a job together at the same company and worked together. And then I was in his wedding. And, well, he wasn't quite in my wedding. He didn't make the cut. It was a small house. We were expecting.
You didn't book him?
Congratulations, by the way, on your recent marriage.
Yeah,
Congratulations.
we're all enthused about this. Well, we were all just over the roof about me being married. I mean,
That was shocking.
yeah, it was.
Yeah, to see that.
What, Dino or
No, you. You were getting married.
That
when I
you
told you
finally
were getting married.
convinced someone to marry you. Yeah.
No, somebody finally convinced me. Why would I want that? What is it? What is the benefit of it for me? Until I heard that her job had unbelievable health plan and
Wow. All right.
all this other stuff, and I'm just going, well, how do I get involved in this?
Well, you've got some stepkids and you've got grandkids now too, right?
No, I'm a step Chad.
All right.
Step Chad.
No, I don't really take care of these kids.
Okay.
I'll lead them in the right direction. I'll give them the right course of how to get out of the house to go look for a job or something. But other than that, no, I'm not gonna drive them anywhere.
Provide anything for him?
No.
Why? That's right.
I mean,
They weren't part of the deal, really.
well, look,
I've been doing this all wrong for like 10 years as a stepdad. I do this all wrong.
I mean, look at it this way. I'm almost 50. My kid,
Yeah.
my stepchads, my stepdaughters, whatever the are. Oh, I'm sorry.
That's
It's
all
okay.
right.
We'll bleep it.
They're all like
Steve got it. He
they're
marked
like
it.
20 and 24. So you think they should be taking care of themselves at this point? What are they doing? Relying on falling back on the egg, the mom. Yes.
Well, things have changed now, and a lot of the I guess 20 and 24 would be millennials.
How about this, Larry? No, they haven't. They're not changing in our house. She's not coming back.
He's talking about age. That's, I guess, when we met each other in the early 20s, huh?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. We're both, I guess,
So
pushing
you had been wrestling prior to coming to MCW, correct? You had already you were.
Yeah.
Tell us about
I
that.
broke in
a year or two
probably
Yes.
before me, right?
about a year and a half.
Okay.
So
But,
I was
like-
like 92.
Somewhere
I was
around
like
there.
92.
Okay.
I started
Like,
training.
I was working for like a year and a half, and I was not. I'm not going to say, Danny. There wasn't any head trainer.
No, it was terrible. There was nothing. Yeah.
So it was.
I always talk about how I freaking came down, went to the Dwayne's Monster Factory and gave him $3,000 and never saw him again.
Yeah, and he worked with me.
and then I would just show up down to school.
Yeah, me and Danny would work for
And then
hours.
nobody was there.
Hours.
For weeks. I would go down and just sit there and be like, "That guy Dwayne Gill, I gave him my money, and he's
And
not
then
here."
we'd have to sit to wait for Mark Schrader to open the school up, because whoever had the key were out there. There's all these people that want to come in and work, and there's nobody that has the key to this place. It's not a fluent operation.
Yeah, that's an understatement.
So where did you go to get your training before you started? Like,
I didn't
were
go
you
anywhere.
officially trained? Were you?
Nope.
How did you start wrestling?
I showed up at the Stony Creek Democratic Club, and I helped the judge put the ring up.
Okay.
And told Whipwreck Jeff told Whipwreck that.
You knew what you were doing?
Yep.
Oh, is that what happened?
Yep. And he put me in a battle royal, and I got thrown out of the battle royal by Agent Orange, wearing my blue sweatpants.
So you knew Jeff Jones prior
Yeah.
to wrestling. You knew him from Pasadena school. So you knew Jeff before wrestling. So he kind of snuck you in the back door on Whipwreck shows.
Oh yeah. He totally backdoored me in
Yeah.
He lives down the street. He can sell a couple tickets. His father lives like a block away. Like literally, he was in my neighborhood where the show was at the Democratic Club. So my family was going to come and everybody, and Jeff was like, "I'll get you out, Daddy. Oh, I'll get you on."
So you hadn't actually been trained to wrestle, but you got booked on your first show in a battle royal. What happened after that?
Well, I don't know. I got a job at ECW.
Right.
Yeah.
How did you get from the Democratic Club battle royal in your blue swerepants to ECW?
Well, I've already said one word that I couldn't say, and I'm going to say, how the hell do I know? It was me and Danny's good friend, Ian Rotten. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It was Ian
Good
or
old
Axel?
Ian. Was it Ian or? Well, they were both. So at the time, they started when Paul started booking. They had came back from Memphis from USWA, Bad Breed, and Paul was using them as a team. Axel and Ian as a team.
And they needed enhancement talent.
Enhancement talent to get beat up.
But no, I don't call myself enhancement talent. I'm a job guy.
That's right.
I mean, and literally they needed job guys. And we did, I don't know, I think he beat me and Donnie Allen up 3 or 4 times in like 4 days or 3 days, whatever. So we just figured oh, this is what it is.
Okay.
Welcome to ECW.
And then you just from doing those jobs to Axel and Ian, like Paul just continued to like book you because they were doing TV.
Well, yeah, but the TV part was fine with me getting work, but it wasn't the push didn't start until one of your shows. It was the Triple Threat Weekend of Love in Parkville. The
What?
The what?
remember the show where you had like a $34,000 budget at like the Parkville or whatever school. You had Mr. Hughes.
Oh, that was Kenwood High School.
Okay.
That was Ian's show. That was Ian. That wasn't mine. But that was right before the show that he ripped me off that we went to do in Catonsville. That was Big Cat Don't Take No Checks.
Big Cat Don't Take No
He did. He had like a WrestleMania budget at Kenwood High School in Essex. That was my first show. That was
Wow.
Look, because you always November 14th, 1993.
You always remember your first
Wow.
show.
That was
Yep.
my the first match I ever had.
The hell?
I don't remember the first. I know it was in December.
Yeah, like
remember the
Brutus
day.
Beefcake, wasn't it? Sabu.
That's how I ended up with his. I have a Brutus Beefcake ring jacket. He left it there. Like he must have got his money and split so fast that he left his like equipment there. And
Van Hammer came and watched in the crowd. That's how I got Van Hammer. That's how I got to know Van Hammer. Van Hammer was in town. He was in WCW at the time, and he flew in to BWI and was training at the gym the day of the show. And I was like lifting at the gym, and it was in Linthicum, and I said, "Oh my God, Van Hammer!" And he's like, I introduced myself to him.
Van
Well, he was on TV at the time. He was on.
Yeah, well, yeah, at the time.
said nobody.
And I said, "I'm having my first pro wrestling match tonight," and he freaking showed up and bought a ticket. So it was like a $50,000 budget, and Van Hammer was in the crowd. And I think Ian probably lost like 20 grand. But he didn't pay anybody. That was the infamous Big Cat Don't Take No Check.
That's amazing.
Big Cat Don't Take No
Wow.
Check.
November 14th, 1993.
Yeah.
And do you remember your date that you were in that battle royal for?
Absolutely not.
No clue.
News.
Season?
Do you remember? Do you know what I remember? Was that the Mike? That was Beefcake was on that show, or was that the following one?
Which one?
Remember? Because I remember Mike Dunkus.
Chicken neck?
Yeah, Chicken Neck.
One of the chicken necks?
This is like a best story. Chicken Neck. He was Chicken Neck.
Who doesn't
You
remember the
this?
chicken necks?
Beefcake, Brutus Beefcake. This is like I'm just in the business, so I'm all quiet, and I'm all like, and around the big names, I'm all like, you know how it is, like you're all nervous in the back. And Brutus Beefcake goes, he's talking to Dennis Whipwreck, and he says, "I need the most pathetic looking guy in this locker room." Do you remember this? He's like, "I need the most pathetic looking guy in this locker room. Someone really pathetic. The cheapest looking guy." And I was standing right there, and I'm like, "Oh, God, don't point at me." And I'm listening to Beefcake because he's Brutus Beefcake just off TV. He said, "I need someone really looks cheap that doesn't look like a wrestler."
Just the word.
And Mike Dunkus walks by, and he goes, "That guy." And Mike Dunkus was so proud. For the next couple of years, all he would talk about was Brutus Beefcake handpicked him. And I'm like, dude,
just the fact that you said that he's the cheapest.
They said the cheapest. Beefcake was like, "I need the cheapest looking guy that doesn't look like a wrestler," because the gimmick was that they were announcing him as him as an opponent, and he was going to come out as like the champion of 8 continents, the terrifying, like, you know what I mean?
And then when he comes out, you're like, "What? This guy?"
That's the whole stick. But he was so happy. He was so happy, and he couldn't stop talking about it. He talked with a slang. He's like, "Man, I'm telling you, Bruce Beefcake picked me. He handpicked me." Dude, I was right there, and it was not flattering.
Dan,
The way he was, what he was looking for in an opponent.
The cheap.
So I wouldn't brag about it.
I got to tell you, Dan, do you remember the first night when the Chicken Necks were going to be a tag team?
Dude, yes.
when
$2.59 a pound.
and they,
The chicken nugget.
and they said, we're not going to go out there and we're not going to do all that.
Yeah.
And they walked out,
Yeah.
and the place went banana.
The most over they've ever been, ever, and then they didn't want to do it. They wanted to be serious. Both these guys were $150 at most, skinny, no muscle tone. It was Jeff Eastman, right?
and Mike Duncan.
And Mike Dunkus. Really didn't, you know what I mean? No, they couldn't be, but they wanted to be tough. You know, the typical thing that happens in indie wrestling. And this is not beating that. This is just something a lot of guys get into wrestling. Everybody wants to be Triple H and Batista. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Everybody wants to be the top guys that just beat everybody like nobody gets it.
I can't believe you just said them names.
But yeah.
You should have compared them to me. I mean,
Seriously.
Yeah, I mean.
But Rich made these chicken masks with serious.
Oh, I saw them on the Nobody Does It Better video. I never knew who they
And we
were.
announced them. We said, coming to the ring at a combined weight of $2.59 a pound. From
Salisbury.
From Salisbury, Maryland. The chicken necks. And they were freaking over. And they didn't want to do it. It was freaking unbelievable. They were like, "Oh, this is." We're like, "You guys got masks on.
Yeah.
Right.
No one even sees your faces, and you're freaking over. Like you're the most over guys on the show."
They were embarrassed that their families.
They wanted to be the Road Warriors.
Right.
Dude, when they got back to the locker room, I think they told you or Dennis or whoever, when can we do this again? Because they didn't realize how over they were. So they were like, oh, we're on board now.
Yeah.
We're chicken neckers. Like, Axel's just like, what the hell? I mean,
If this was in the age of social media and all, they would have freaking went viral.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sure.
yeah.
They would have went
clearly.
viral. They would have went viral. The chicken necks at a combined weight of $2.59 a pound.
It's funny how things like that organically can get over. What about at the Baltimore Celeb Fest too? It's still real to me guy was there. He's a celebrity now.
Oh, yeah.
You know?
Taking bookings.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
he's booking.
Yeah. Everybody's over.
Wow. So you've had some very interesting characters too. You know, you've done some things where you've got kind of a comedic vein to your character, and that probably kind of happened organically because you're a funny guy. So,
Well, it did because you didn't start because when we started, you were like the high flyer guy, huh?
Yeah.
You know? So that I would say that came around later on. 'Cause
Okay.
Chad was always when we both. Well, he started before me, but when I get in, I got kind of married to Chad on a lot of stuff around here, like
Training,
wrestling.
especially.
Training and doing matches with you, and you were like the guy that was doing high flying Sabu type stuff, you know, and doing the so all that. So that comedy, that version of
okay,
him
that came later.
probably
Okay.
a decade later.
Yeah, you know what I remember about that stuff was that I always wanted to be that Sabu kind of hardcore crash and burn guy. You know, like I wanted to like mess you up, you know, jump, you know. And then after a while, I just realized, why am I doing it?
Yeah.
This isn't getting me anywhere. It's not got me any more money. It hasn't got me any more bookings. It hasn't got me any more further in my career. Like, what else can I do? So I realized I just didn't need that. Plus, I'm not a bad dude. Like, I can't take a beating. I mean, you know, I can't get beat up by like the Sandman, you know, like every week
On a regular basis.
Again.
Do you remember when you backdropped me through the ceiling at the Stony Creek
Of
Democratic
course I do.
Club?
I have it on tape.
Yeah. That made a nobody does it
That's
better.
also a Nobody Does It Better.
That was the day I got back from
Find
working
that
for
tape.
WCW.
Yeah, I want to see this.
Yeah, the ceilings were like they are.
Yeah,
now.
they were.
You know, it was like there was like no room,
And
barely
you were tall.
enough room.
You,
to,
you
like,
were tall back then.
Yeah,
so.
I was 6'3" then.
It wasn't even a big backdrop. Like literally, the ceilings were so low. I threw them in, and we've always kind of thought about the ceilings kind of thing.
Yeah.
And I threw Danny in, and I backdropped him, and his feet hit the
went into the ceiling grid.
thing, and everything fell down, and the crowd went banana. And then I think I hit him with the
Probably.
stupid piece of plastic thing
The
or
piece of the
whatever.
ceiling.
Yeah, it was like this thing. It was like plastic. You know,
Right.
it wasn't anything. But yeah, that was some good stuff. I mean, me and Danny have had some classics, epics.
We were probably the first one around here to do ladder matches. Me and you.
Oh, I would
We were
say
doing 'em.
if the match of the year was 95 for MCW, then when was Sean and Razor? Was that 90?
That was 95.
Yeah, I think
That was
we. I
SummerSlam
think. I think if I believe that year. That's. I mean, we were. That match definitely happened because me and you were trying to we came up with some different more innovative stuff. But
Yeah,
it was definitely that
each
match.
other.
It was definitely that match that probably inspired us to start doing a series of ladder matches.
I
right?
actually-
but it wasn't MCW because I didn't start. This was MEWF and other random indies that were running because I didn't start MCW till '98.
I still have the this certification of match of the year. I have it framed in my wrestling room, like prominently. Like, you know, I can walk in there and I could look at it and just be like, yeah, that's was near and dear to me. Like I remember that. And me and Danny went out there and we beat the hell out of each other. And I just remember some of the spots that I did to you, and I'm thinking like, this kid let me do this to him. Like when I watched,
I was an idiot.
yeah,
You know?
you clearly were. Like when I put the ladder when I was standing on the top rope, and I went to the top rope, and I put my knees on the ladder on the second or third rung from the top, and just crushed you. And I'm just thinking, he's just laying there for this. Like,
Yeah, I mean, we always talk about. Should we take a break and come back and finish?
We
this up?
should, because I think this is good, and we
Yeah.
want to hear the rest of it. So yeah, we're gonna take a quick break, and we'll come back and we'll hear more stories from the road with Chad Austin. Stay with us.
Fuel the MCW Cast by visiting buymeacoffee.com/MCWcast. And for just $3, you can buy the cast a coffee. Or you can choose to become a member of the cast for just $5 a month and get several additional perks. That's buymeacoffee.com/MCWcast.
And we're back. Before we were going to break, we were talking about all these crazy bumps we used to take, or I used to take for you and everybody else. That was all pre all the information about concussion, though. You know what I mean? That was like we were like 17 years too early. And I wish that information had come out about 2 decades earlier because I probably wouldn't have been so careless. In the ring
I can tell you, Danny, I can attest to this, that
you gave me my first one.
I probably hit you 5-6 times in the head with a blocked chair shot to the head.
Yeah.
You probably hit me 3, 4, 5, 6 times in the head. Same thing. We didn't know. We had no idea about it.
Yeah, I know. I would just say, "Come on, give it to me."
And who would have thought you would have left Patterson Park at the fun festival with a concussion or whatever?
Catonsville High School, though. That's the first concussion I ever got. Remember, you gave me the clothesline.
That was a doozy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was the first. That was the one of many.
Dude, how did you? What did you expect me to do? Like after that spot?
I don't know because I don't remember any of it. I don't remember.
I know. I'm just saying. I'm dragging you around the ring. Like
That was like opening spot, wasn't it?
yes, it was.
Wait, a chair shot in the opening spot.
No.
No.
Okay.
It was throw
He
him
gave
in.
me the old Chris Benoit clothesline
The
where you
hooking
throw
clothesline.
Oh, yeah,
you
yeah.
throw him in and you're right behind him,
Right.
like you're right on top of him, and then you hook him.
Yeah, this fool did a friggin' he like
And I-
kind of
I tried to cut a 360.
yeah.
I got like 327.
Yeah.
Like
He
I
lands,
got about 327 of the
my.
360.
he lands on
landed
his
on top
head.
of my head.
Yeah, he lands on his
Yeah.
head, and I walk over to him and grab him, and he's all going, blah, blah, blah. And I'm going, are you ready? He's like, huh? What? And then literally we had to do that deal where, you know how it works, Dan, where you kind of got to separate. So let him try to get his self together while I try to get some heat, whatever. And then I go back over to him, and he's still falabala over there. He's not has anything to do like what's going on, but yet he got back in the ring and still finished the match. He still did everything
Yeah.
he was
Yeah, I know.
supposed to do, and it was like I was kind of leading you. Like, it was simple, right? It was easy stuff. Tackle, drop down, whatever. But at the same time, going, this guy shouldn't be doing this.
That's all stuff obviously we didn't know because I'm sure it made the concussion way worse.
Yeah.
Right.
We're still beating each other up.
That'll be reliving that in another 10 or 15 years when the CTE starts to set in,
Did you ever have any other injuries, Chad?
I've never had an injury.
So just a concussion or two, right?
On my end. He gave him.
Did you say you had some too?
I've never had a diagnosed concussion.
Okay.
Never.
See, but that's the thing. That's the whole key, right?
Right.
Concussions diagnosed.
Diagnosed, right.
Because actually, anytime from, obviously I dove into it and started getting worried about it around the early 2000s when I had my like 6th or 7th one and started having problems for a couple months. That's the whole key. I only know of like 6 or 7 diagnosed ones.
Right.
There are many times, other times in the ring, I blacked out for a second, and that was probably also a concussion.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So
Yeah. When I signed up to donate my brain to the Concussion Legacy Foundation,
you have no brain?
No, I
When
can't
she
donate
goes.
it yet. When
Oh,
I
she
go,
goes.
She taps.
it's Christopher Nowinski's foundation that he created to study the effects of this because of his own experiences in WWE with concussions. And when I signed up to donate my brain, I had to list how many concussions I'd had, and I was like, "Do you want how many I'm pretty sure I had, or do you want how many times the doctor said, 'Oh, you have another concussion'? Like, which do you want here?" And I realized that I marked at the very high end. Like, there's probably lots of people who've maybe had one and they're interested in finding out the long-term effects or something like that.
I'm sure we've had, me and Danny could probably say we've had more than at least 5. Like over the course.
Well, yeah, I've had
I mean,
6 or 7 diagnosed.
I haven't had. I've only had like one, whatever, diagnosed, whatever. So I could probably say I know I've had my bell rang like a million times.
Oh, yeah.
New Jack. Come on.
Right.
Seriously.
Yeah, that's always a story I heard about, but I never
What
asked
was the
him
whole
about
New
it.
Jack? That was so long ago. What was the New Jack story? He was pissed at you from something for Smoky Mountain, right?
That he says.
That he says, because me and you, like, I first met Jim Cornette because I was jumping in a car with you when we were going down to Smoky Mountain tapings.
Oh, yeah, for the Fan Week thing.
Yeah. And that's how I actually met Jim Cornette the first time. So
I don't know. I don't have any idea what to do.
you were going down there. Did you go to Smoky Mountain and do jobs a couple times?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I loved it.
Yeah.
I mean, my mom lived in Knoxville, like his hub, his main town. So I would use that as a reason why I would travel to Knoxville. I'd go to Knoxville. I'd call Jim, say, "Can you use me?" I know he wasn't going to feature me, put me in a main spot or anything.
Just yeah.
So he's like, "Yeah, I can usually do jobs. Is that cool with you?" I'm like, "Yeah, that's fine."
Right.
And that's how I got my spot down there.
And then what's so New Jack? What happened? Like something in ECW was
I
pissed.
have no idea.
But it was you really didn't know. Like he was mad at you for
I still don't know.
Was it a match or was it a match that you had against him?
No, I didn't even know him. I never even met him.
But he was hot. Like, and he came out at ECW. We were on the ECW show, and he like went nuts on you, right?
Yeah, they were at ECW. They were in Smoky Mountain, and I wasn't even there for when they were at Smoky Mountain. I go to ECW, and they come in, and I see my name against the Gangsters, and I'm thinking, that's not a big deal. That's easy, right?
And it's not.
It's easy in the sense that you realize you're just gonna get pummeled.
Well, and I've always said, like, I wrestled the Gangsters in ECW. I did, a bunch of preliminary matches against them, and that, like, they never touched. You know what I mean? They were like, when I say easy,
right.
they were easy. You know,
That's why you think that it's gonna be easy,
right?
All they're gonna do is just pummel you with lumber, plumbing, whatever the hell they do over there.
Yeah.
And whatever. But all of a sudden I get out there and this fucking fool, I'm sorry. This fool just starts pounding me with a chair. Like all over the side, the back, the breast, chest, neck, and head. And then he caught me in the side of my kneecap.
Right, that's what I remember.
You know what that is.
Yeah.
And he caught me in there. And then when I grabbed
And that's the freaking worst.
Well, when I grabbed that, it took my hands away from covering everything else. So he was still continuing everything, and I'm going, why is he doing this? And then when I like years later, Tara, years later, when I hear the stories, he tells people, this fool tells people that he said that I came to him with ideas that I wanted to have for the match. For me and the Blue Meanie against him and Mustafa on an ECW TV show taping, that these were my ideas, that this is what I wanted to get in. I had to get this in. And I said that anybody who listened to the mountaintops, I said, here's how the match went. New Jack said, Meanie, you go with Mustafa. Chad, you come with me. That's how the match was laid out. Like, there wasn't anything me going, hey, Jack, do you think if I can get this
Huna Karada in?
Yeah, dude. Like, I mean, I almost feel like anytime somebody like talks about it, I go, who do you believe? Like, who possibly would you believe in this situation? What am I going to do? You know?
Well, you know what it was is he probably was trying to just lay the seeds for like if he ever worked someone like the mass transit incident. It sounds very similar to how he said that kid came up to him in the back and was like, hey, I want to do this, that, and whatever. And New Jack said, and I quote, if you put one finger on me, I'm going to effing kill you, is what he said to the kid. Apparently, that's him retelling the story. I never heard that guy who's, both of them have passed away now.
He's an idiot. New Jack's an idiot.
Well, he's dead now.
He was.
Yeah. I was at my wedding rehearsal dinner when I got the phone call that he had died. And I told my wife at the table, I said, that's the best wedding present I'm probably going to get this year is him. I'm sorry.
This is the most legendary episode of the MCW Cast we've ever had. That is the soundbite right there. It's going up.
You know what I mean? I'm just like, enough with him. He did enough to too many people. And it wasn't just me. It wasn't that I take exception to it at all. You dealt with him before.
And I always said, for whatever reason, he liked me, and I get that he treated a lot of people differently, but for whatever reason, he liked me, and I worked him a bunch. He never touched me.
Took advantage?
Never took advantage. I don't know why.
Yeah, but someone that's the size of Chad, he can really go out there, and what is that going to look like to any other young up-and-comer? Like, oh, don't mess with him. Do you see what happened to Chad Austin?
Right.
It's like, he just...
I'm the measuring stick for how bad New Jack is.
No, I know. It's just, I understand what Larry's saying. Like, he probably picked a spot with you.
Right, and subsequently with the mass transit incident, that sounds very similar to what New Jack said. He cut him because the guy came up to him in the back and started saying, hey, man, I want to maybe get my thing in and get this thing in. And it sounds like that he said that you did the same thing, and that would justify why he went out there and did.
That's exactly what I wanted. Danny, I came up with you. You totally know I went back there and said, hey, New Jack, why don't you just break my leg? Here's my leg. My friend Danny's watching. He might love this. He's a big fan. Hell no, he just doesn't. He didn't care. He just didn't care, and it showed because you can see it with. Look at how many tag teams didn't take their stuff. Bring in the Harris brothers. The Harris brothers did not take their stuff.
Oh, true, yeah.
They came in, and I tell my buddy all the time, I wish the Harris brothers would have stayed. If they would have stayed in ECW, Public Enemy would have never been a thing. If they would have been a thing, they wouldn't have been as big of a thing because the Harris brothers were legitimate. Everybody believed because they beat up people like all the time. Like they beat up police, and everybody else, and that's the kind of stuff that I loved when it came to ECW.
When did they leave? The Harris brothers.
They were going and
Did they get signed by
95.
WCW
They were in
or
WCW and WWF.
WWF? They were what?
The Blues Brothers.
Blues
Eli
Brothers.
and Jacob Blue with
That's right.
Uncle Zebekiah.
That's right.
But in '94, when they were the Bruise Brothers,
Bruise.
they were it's Ron and Don Harris.
That's right, Ron and Don Harris.
They wore the t-shirts with the
remember.
cut-off sleeves and
Yeah.
the trunks, and they were just two big guys with long hair, and they would just come in the ring and just beat up everybody.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's ECW right there. And you're like, where is Public Enemy when you need somebody to get beat up? Like, where? How come they're never here when you need somebody to get beat up on TV?
So it sounds like Sabu was your least favorite person to work.
You mean
Who was
New Jack.
Or New Jack, sorry. I don't know why I said Sabu. New Jack was your least favorite person to work. Who's been one of your favorites?
ECW or just general?
Anybody.
Dan.
Okay. All right.
Because I could go on any show. I can go on any show that he's on. And if we're not booked, I could say, is there any chance that that we can, make this happen? That we can work? Kind of thing, or, whatever. But other than that, I also loved working Hack Myers.
Oh, okay.
Like he was a good friend of mine.
Yeah.
And I got him booked a lot up in I don't know wherever the Bad Crew runs. What's that? Allentown.
Oh, okay.
Allentown, yeah.
Yeah. He got me booked. I got him booked. Whatever up there a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we did a lot of shows up there. But Dino is my
You guys were so fun to work with.
dude. He was in my wedding. I mean, he was in my. That's how good friends we became.
Yeah.
Who's that?
John Licata.
John
John
Dino
Licata
Devine.
was in your wedding?
I thought you said you were in his. He didn't make the cut.
thought
for
you
yours.
I was in his,
There
and he
you
was
go.
in mine.
Well,
Oh, I thought you said a few minutes ago he wasn't in yours.
I got to know
That's where I
both you
was
guys
lost.
when you were in TQM, and I was a part of TQM, and I loved it because I loved when I got to go out when you guys were having a tag match because you two were so fun to work with. Like, I knew that if I saw that on the card, I was like, oh, we're having fun tonight. And we would just come up with such funny spots and stuff, and it was really enjoyable for me. I loved it.
Subliminally, Tara, Dino hated it.
Did he really?
Yes, he hated
What,
it.
was it the turtlenex? Because I hated the turtlenecks too.
He
Just the
hated-
gimmick in general?
Yes.
Really?
But
I love the
for
entrance
fans,
music.
for
I
people,
did
for people
too.
listening that don't know. I mean, you could probably pull up Slackers videos on MCW YouTube.
Well, I
I'm
was still
sure.
talking about TQM. We hadn't even gotten to Slackers.
okay.
So he didn't like TQM,
Dino,
but
he didn't like TQM.
Yeah.
okay.
He liked the Slackers.
Yeah, because
Okay.
that
But he
was like
liked-
Clerks, which
Gotcha,
was
yeah.
really popular at the time.
Jay and
It
Silent
did
Bob,
seem
okay.
like that was more natural for him. Like
Yeah.
I felt like the Lunchbox character, he seemed relaxed. And it seemed like more of the stuff that you guys were doing as TQM
Dude,
as a
that
tag
was-
team, having fun.
That was completely organic as hell when
Yeah.
we came up with that gimmick. We were down at the Patapsco flea market, and we were not me and Dino. I think it was me and whoever I was with. We're shopping around, and we saw that Superman shirt or whatever, and I thought of Silent Bob and Jay, and then I bought them stupid shorts that I wore, and then I thought, damn. Maybe there's something here because I had just seen the movie and I wasn't even a fan of the franchise. So I didn't see the rest of the movies. So I didn't know like the rest of them. I just was like, yeah, the little dumb guy right there with the big guy who's the muscle guy. And I'm like, that makes total sense to me. So me and the lovely judge, we went shopping around for outfits, like for what to do, and that's how we came up with the costume.
You know, we were gonna do before that a Jay and Bob gimmick with RJ
Really?
and Bobby.
Bobby
Star?
Starr?
No.
That was in stereo. I was like, what?
No. Bobby that was training with him
Oh, yeah.
when they started, and RJ hated the
wow.
idea.
I
We
believe
pitched
that.
the idea when RJ had just started training. He was like, dude, and because Bobby was a little mouthy.
Right. Oh, yeah. He
You
sure
know,
was.
and,
You remember Bobby, right? Do you
I
remember
don't know
Bobby?
if you ever knew
No.
him. He was real good. He passed away, right?
Yeah, he just last month.
Yeah.
Yeah, I went
Oh
to
my
his
goodness,
funeral.
wow.
Yeah.
Dude, that's a rough gimmick to do.
Yeah.
Because you have to have one guy who's committed to not say nothing, and the other guy you trust 100% to be the mouthpiece
Right.
for everything. So you're going to be like, whatever he says is the direction that we're going to go in, and you better hope that he says the right thing.
Well, I can see that it wouldn't have worked for them because neither of them could have been silent. So
Well, Bobby was mouthy, but
Yeah.
RJ didn't. RJ was like, I don't want to stand there and just not talk.
right.
Like,
Oh, I'm sure.
Me and Dino were perfect because Dino didn't like to talk.
Right.
So it didn't bother him that he didn't talk.
Mm-hmm.
So, but he would tell me afterwards, hey, next time you do a promo, try to get, this in,
Mm-hmm.
whatever. I really didn't need all that because I had Sean Cradle standing right next to me probably during it. And you know what I mean? So it was like, he was great at keeping everything in order, like how the progression of
Right.
stuff went. Like if somebody goes, "Hey, we need you to be over here," like all them shows you used to run, Dan, down at the power plant.
Oh,
Those
yeah,
were the most
Hard
fun.
Rock.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah,
Hard
Hard
Rock.
Rock.
They
Yeah,
were my
that's fine.
favorite shows.
They were awesome.
They
They
were
were
fun.
fun.
Dude, even though Mark Schrader was the guy that took the spot in the water, and
Oh, it was Tarantino.
That was
it was Nick.
Tarantino, right? It was Nick Tarantino.
I don't know.
It was Nick, yeah.
It's the same thing. Nick Tarantino, Mark Schrader, whatever. Bob Starr.
All one wrestler. All one Maryland Baller wrestler.
But yeah, they were my favorite shows, man.
They
Because
were the best.
that crowd was. It wasn't it wasn't vast. A couple hundred.
Yeah, it was neat
But
to
they
do
were
it down there.
they were enthusiastic.
They were drinking
and
too.
they were just
Yeah.
like, yeah, go out there and kill them. And I still wear. Remember that one time when I had to wrestle the midget dude?
Short sleeve Samson.
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't remember.
I still have the shirt, the Cincinnati Bengals shirt that you told me that I had to wear because it was the Bengals against the Ravens or whatever. And you're like, you're going to go out there and you're going to tell everybody that you're from Cincinnati. Blah. And I had the shirt and I still
Oh,
have
the Della Roses, wasn't it?
Yes.
Yes. Oh, I
Yeah.
remember that. I was like, wait, I know this show.
I
Okay.
still have the shirt. And it pops up in my T-shirt rotation every so often, and I still kind of laugh, like, "Oh goddamn!"
The Della Rosa shows were fun.
They were fun.
Now that Chad puts it all together, the Hard Rock shows were kind of the precursor to the
Yeah.
Della Rosa
Yeah.
shows. If you think about it,
Yeah.
we got that Mike Murphy was how we got into Hard Rock.
Oh, good lord!
Well, it is time for another quick break, and then
Okay.
we're going to come back and keep talking. It's okay.
Yeah, I'm
right.
having a great
So
time.
stay with us, and we'll be right back.
Show your support for the MCW Cast while sporting some great gear by going to teespring.com/stores/MCWcast. You can pick up a full line of official MCW Cast merchandise, from coffee mugs and face coverings to t-shirts and sweatshirts. Visit teespring.com/stores/MCWcast.
And we are back here right in the studio with Chad Austin. Chad, so many great tales. You've been taking us down memory lane. I want to remind you of one thing, and I think we all can agree on this. The largest attendance ever set at an MCW show featured you in the main event, you and Lunchbox, the Slackers, against Gilberg, and from the Jerry Springer show, the head of security, Steve Wilkos.
I know. I know. me and Dino, we worked our butts off to draw that house and make it what it was. And then what does the promoters, the ilk of MCW do? They go, okay, we'll top that. We'll bring in some guy from the TV world, Steve Wilkos.
Wilkos.
Whatever his
I
name
think
is.
that was Steve's only pro wrestling match.
Absolutely.
Yes.
And he only did two clotheslines
Yeah.
And a sleeper.
Danny,
and a sleeper. That's it. Yep.
I could sit here and tell you like about the conversations that we had like after that match.
Oh.
Do you remember like when he asked you? I was standing there when he asked you, "When can we do this again?"
Yeah.
And you said, we can't do this again.
That's not how this works.
Like, yeah, you already drew like $10,000 in like Glen Burnie, like for a show.
And on top of that, he was going to cancel that morning.
That's right.
And he had a garbage bag. He had a trash bag full of money. Like, he legitimately did. Like,
Yeah, we had to pay him cash.
We joked. We
He wouldn't take a check or anything yet. We had to have
Big Cat don't take no check.
Yeah, you had to have cash. Well, all that was through Springer.
We joked about how he was going to leave with a trash bag full of money because of the Polaroids. Like, we were literally joking about it. And when they were lined up for $20 a piece to get Polaroids with the guy left with a Glad bag, trash bag full of money. And I look at Danny and I'm going, look, he's leaving with a garbage bag full of money. He really is.
But you know what the thing was? It's not only was he hot because of Springer, you know, Baltimore loved him because they said he looked like Cal.
Yeah.
You know, a young Steve Wilkos, a lot of women
I've never
were
had
like,
so much local media ever that was just all over the place.
Mm-hmm.
And he basically, I guess, got the producer at the time of the Springer show had called me to like, hey, he got the butterflies and like got scared and wasn't going to get on the plane in Chicago. Like, what am I doing? People probably got in his head like, you could get
shouldn't
hurt.
be doing it. You could get hurt,
get
right?
hurt.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my God. It was like 13 or 1,400 pre-sold tickets. It was insane. We had multiple newspapers and media that were you know, set to be there. You know, and I was just like, dude.
Can you imagine?
Oh, I was like, who can we get that looks like Steve?
Here's
To
how
just
it
send
went.
him out there and
Here's how
pretend
the
that it's
match
him.
went down. It was the best.
And then he shows up. Then because he was going to cancel, and I luckily had a little bit of a relationship because working with the Springer show at the time, and said, "Oh my God, don't do this to me. You'll put me out of business. Like, please." So then he changed his flight. He was supposed to get there at like 11. Come in, work through the match. You know what I mean? Have some time, go to lunch, come back, work through the match again. Instead, he shows up as the doors are open.
I remember
15 minutes before
we
bell
rushed
time.
him in. Remember how hot it was in Michael's 8th Avenue that night? Stifling.
That's because there were 1,400 people in that building.
That was, you couldn't move. You
Yeah,
couldn't move.
it was crazy.
Absolutely
I remember.
disgusting. Well, I mean, Chad, that is a feather in the cap to say that you were in that main event. We never even got close to it. Maybe with the Hardy Boys here at.
I mean,
Yeah, the
it's
Hardys.
it's not just it's not a feather in my cap. It's a feather in Danny's cap for trusting me enough to work with, you know, somebody who's not a worker. He doesn't know what he's doing.
He was equivalent to a fan because he had 10 minutes.
Do you remember?
I know this is like goes against everything. Like as a promoter and people
Well, I've asked you
trained to get
before.
in.
Have you ever had to like kind of like just like turn the blind eye?
Not like that, never.
Yeah,
we didn't have a choice. I had a building full of people, and we had to make something happen. So I had to, like Chad and Gilbert and them, I just said, he's got to get in the ring.
It's
The
right.
people got to see him do something. He can't just stand there.
Yeah.
But we just gotta get by.
It's like a Vince gimmick. You got to get the match.
I
in the
mean,
ring.
literally,
Yeah.
no training.
I remember,
Except in the back for 10 minutes.
We told him.
Not even in the
we
ring.
told him.
So when he stepped in the ring, it was his first time in the ring. You know?
And we said, do you know how to do a clothesline? And he
said, "What's that?"
And we were like, stick your arm out.
Yeah.
And he stuck his arm out, and I said, listen, just when whoever was tagged him in, you get in the ring and you stick your arm out, and we'll run into
That's right.
and you see me and Dino like running into him, like bumping like crazy, and he's just turning around and.
Yeah, that's exactly what it was.
Yeah.
And damned if we didn't add that to the beginning of Rage TV. The two clotheslines that Steve gave to Chad and Lunchbox, we added it to the beginning of Rage TV.
I think me and Dino were laying like on the ground like together when our heads were kind of like near each other, and we were going, "This is the most embarrassing
Yeah.
thing." I mean,
I was watching on the balcony and Michael's going, this is the most embarrassing thing ever.
I was up there watching from the balcony as well.
Yeah.
Yep.
I was like,
Yep.
Guess what? Funny equals money. Because
even when I lost to Mickey from 98 Rock or whatever.
Oh,
Oh, it was Kirk McEwen, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Was it
Or
McEwen?
whatever, whatever it was.
Yeah.
Probably both of them. You probably put both of them over.
Whoever it was.
Yeah, we
I
got
did.
Chad on a roll with bringing in the celebs to,
The guest DJs, school teachers,
Well,
whatever.
Danny was smart. He knew that I was a very safe guy to work with.
and the DJ down there in Harrington. Remember the chain? You and
Yeah.
Lunchbox
Yeah.
spot the DJ and Hammer with the chain.
Danny was smart. He knew that I wasn't a guy that was going to be dangerous and hurt
Well, and
anybody.
you get what you got it.
Yeah,
You
you
understood
get it,
it, like, and a lot of people don't. Like, there's
You
different.
trusted me. Yeah,
Yeah, I trusted you, and you got it. Like a lot of guys, a lot of people that don't get it, like having to explain to them, like all they see is I'm losing into a radio DJ.
Right.
Like, no, man.
We
Like,
loved it.
Yeah. It's like
Chad, you also benefited from that relationship that Dan you had with Toby from the Springer Show, and you got to make several appearances on there. And you
Several?
were, yeah, you
He
made
was on a
multiple.
bunch. You went to Jamaica with us.
You were on a bunch. I think I did like a dozen of them, and I know you had to have done at least that
5.
many. And you did a bunch, you did some in Jamaica too. Did you have a favorite Springer episode? A PG
Jamaica.
favorite Springer episode that you could share with our listeners?
Dude, it's crazy because I could easily say the Jamaica one was fantastic because of the midget. I mean,
And Chef on the water slide.
yes.
So, but yeah, the midget was
Did a
good.
Was the
Did
chef?
Chef pass away?
He did pass
Yeah,
away
he
too.
passed away years ago.
Yeah, a few years back. Yeah, maybe
And
6 or so.
yeah. Besides that thing, I loved the promo that I cut on the Stumpy Broad. the last one that I did, that I was supposed to be a caretaker to some girl that had no arms and half a leg, and I didn't take care of her, and she was bitching about how I didn't take care of her, and I cut a promo on her, and I literally, like, I told Toby, like, you know how Toby is, how they want you to tell you everything you're gonna say.
Yeah.
I said, no, I'm not doing that. I'm flying in the last flight in. I'm gonna do the show, and then I'm flying out the first flight back.
Well, yeah, they were used to like kind of controlling people because they would get these like real life Jerry Springer people, and then they couldn't be trusted anywhere, so they would lock them up basically for the day. They had food and stuff,
they
but
didn't
then
do
they'd
it to
get
me.
people like us. I would go when they would bring me in. I'd go off and like go to the zoo or go to like this. Like I would look up the city and be like, "What can I go exploring?"
Yeah.
And the first time it happened, they like called in a panic. "Where are you? Why aren't you in the green room?" I'm like, "Cause I'm not sitting there for 8 hours. Why
Right.
would I? You paid me to do a job. I'll do it, and then I'm going home or
I had
going back
a
out."
30-pack of Natural Light delivered to the green room because I was so bored just sitting in there, like waiting for a wardrobe.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
literally, I was sitting in there and I was like,
That's right.
where can I get booze, And they were like, what do you want? You know how the kids
Yes.
were, where they were like,
The
we'll get you
PAs.
anything you want. And
Yep.
like, can I get like some beer? And some guy just shows up like a 30-pack of Natural Light in my green room. I'm like, well, I can just stay here for the weekend. I don't even need to go back to the hotel.
Well, those were definitely some very fun times. It was good to do those. Now, I want to ask you this one more question. You have got, or at least had, the largest tape library of anybody I've
Thank
ever
you,
seen
Tara.
or known in my
Yes.
life.
I heard
Wrestling
Earl's
Wrestling
was
tape,
kind of
yeah.
rivaled yours,
But I know you've gotten rid of a lot of stuff. But like
I've never rid of anything.
I thought you did. I thought because you had
No, I
messaged me.
sell.
Oh, you sold. Okay,
I
but
sell stuff. That's copies.
yeah.
were
so-
you
and there's a-
digitizing the whole library? Did I hear that right? That you were kidding?
Easy, pal.
I want to see this.
What did he just say? what was I doing? I don't even know her.
Digitizing where you
Oh,
get the tape,
oh,
because
no,
the
no,
tape
no.
will go with mold, and
Well,
Right.
I'm putting them on DVD. If that's what you're asking.
So
No,
and you're selling them, right? You're selling them.
Kind of, sure.
Okay. So
Not at the MCW collectible store, but
Hideaway
trying my
collectible.
best to
Hideaway
get my foot in
collectible.
the door there.
well,
You're not the only one.
that's kind of like this lost art because everything is digital now. Everything is out there on YouTube, or you can find anything on the internet except some of the stuff that you have is stuff that is not on the
It's
internet
first
at
generation.
all.
Yeah.
Right,
It's
right.
stuff that I taped in the early 80s,
Yeah.
mid 80s, late 80s, like my tape. It's not like I got it from some other guy.
Right.
It's my tape. And as far as I know, 90% of them still work.
Okay.
I'm sure there's going to be a couple of them that I put in and it's going to screw it up. But
Right.
And then I'll try to make them a DVD as soon as possible. That way I can just keep the whole entire stuff. But yeah, I'm a huge tape collector. I got about, I don't know, what do you say, 15, 20,000, something like that.
Wow.
Good God.
That is impressive. That really is. It's like I said, it's like a lost art, like that.
Well, I'm also working with a lot of other tape people from around the world, around the world that are sending me their tapes.
Okay.
I have a guy who's going to be sending me his Puerto Rico stuff.
Wow.
He's from Puerto Rico, and he has WWC from like the 80s.
Wow.
And I'm just like, bring it on, man. Like, show me that Carlos Colon getting bloodied up on TV again by Abdullah the Butcher.
Do you have when Hulk Hogan called Bad News Brown a ghetto-dwelling darky?
Ooh.
I don't. I have to go home
When
and
did
look.
that happen?
It happened. I mean, it's a rumor because there's never been any footage of it. And that's why I can reference it because, like, it's rare. But there was a time where Hogan was in a feud with Bad News Brown, and
Did it happen on TV?
It did,
supposedly?
yeah. Supposedly, I've never
And
seen it.
WWE would never show it. I'm sure
Never.
it disappeared out of their library.
Never. Yeah. Just like this episode.
November 13th, we could continue the Autumn Armageddon tour
Easy for
and
you to
going
say.
to one of our favorite towns, and that is Hollywood, not California, but Hollywood,
Hollywood.
Maryland. And, it's the Bright Lights Big City, right? In
Well-
Hollywood, Maryland? Sure. And, yeah, so please join us. Check us out there. You can get tickets, of course, at our authorized ticket outlet, which is Hideaway Collectibles on Hollywood Avenue in lovely Dundalk, right down the street from Jimmy's Famous Seafood. And we will see you at the next show.
Well,
There.
for our
Chad?
special guest, Chad.
We'll have to have him back.
Yeah.
Yes,
We
yes.
always have to have the
We
legacy
need to
guys
have
back for two.
The Chad After Dark episode, okay?
We should do a Chad, Bob Star, Dwayne Gill.
Oh, boy.
Can you imagine?
I can't be in the same room with them two other guys. there's only enough room in here for one ego.
Ah, well said.
And if Bob and Dwayne are in here, it ain't gonna happen.
Well, it has been great catching up with you, Chad. So
Oh, it's always a pleasure.
thank you for
guys,
stopping in.
Tara, you're the best. Love working with you.
Oh,
I absolutely
thank
love
you.
working with you.
Thank
Danny,
you.
always a pleasure working for you most of the time. I mean, you should have spent more money on envelopes than.
It's Mark Schrader and Dennis.
Okay.
Gotta talk to them.
He's not the envelope guy.
And Larry, I've never had a problem with. You know that.
Well, a little quick piece of trivia I want to leave everyone with.
Oh, no.
The first ever time that I got booked outside of MCW, because I started with you way back in the day as an assistant, was for a DC based promotion, and I was Chad and Lunchbox's manager.
No
And I
kidding.
believe they fought. Maybe it was RJ and Quentin or RJ and Pat. It was a little rinky-dink show. And they wanted me involved, but they had an announcer, so they said, "You know what? We'll put you with that tag team, the tag team champions from MCW. You can be their manager." And yeah, that's my first, one of my only times managing. It was managing the Slackers.
Wow.
you
And here
can go
comes
to the
full
grave with
circle.
that one.
All right, well,
All right.
fans, we'll catch you next week
See you
here
next
on the MCW Cast.